So welcome everybody to the webinar Sustainovation, how to combine sustainability and innovation. Here we are, the both of us. It's my colleague Gustav and I start, so Gustav can take it from here. So I'm Karina Brett, I'm the Sustainability Manager at Together Tech. I'm a mechatronics engineer as my main background and a master degree in sustainable development. And my role here is, of course, helping our customers to improve the sustainability of their products and processes, and as well the internal sustainability for the company. I have had some experience in the automotive industry, the food industry, and the clothing industry, as both an eco designer and a strategist. Welcome.
Hello, my name is Gustav. I'm a visionary thinker, always striving to live in the future. I have more than 10 years of experience as a product designer in medtech and machinery industries. I have a bachelor degree in innovation, product design, and a master degree in product and process development. I'm always looking for challenging the status quo, and I'm a person that definitely is outside the box. I have various, it's okay. Never mind.
Okay, well,
Yes.
We continue.
Let's continue. Heads up. Just to warn our participants, we know that the topic about sustainability and innovation is too extensive, and we want to be able to talk about it in a deep way. But instead, this webinar is inspiration for you that already work with innovation, sustainability, or both, to incorporate in your existing processes some aspects of sustainability that would be missing in your innovation process, or some innovation process that miss sustainability. And participating in the breakout rooms is not mandatory, but is helpful for us, for you also, to get more experience. And what we will learn today. The agenda will be, we will have a recap from our previous webinar, Innovation for Sustainability, and we will present who we are. And we'll going over to the topic, sustainability in innovation, value components, and at the last, roadblocks. So let's start with our recap, Innovation for Sustainability. In our previous webinar, we already explored how circular design wheel, our own framework model for circular design, can be used to boost innovation. In brief, we can say that looking for solutions that make the products to last longer, use less resources, and foster ecosystems leads to invention of new methods and the creation of new partnerships with experts and different stakeholders, taking inspiration from nature to reproduce its processes with our own technology, while providing flexibility to create resilience, as in our methods, as for the nature. So, Together Tech, who we are. We are a product development and digital solutions consulting firm. We support our customers with highly qualified tech expertise and advice. We also have a large in-house capabilities and take a responsibility for projects with close collaboration with our customers. So this is our three biggest area. The first one is medtech, product development with human health, technical precision, and MDR in balance. The second one is mobility, smooth, continuous, and compliant product development with the right skills for your specific project. And the last one, security, high-tech systems and products development. A more secure world is a better world. So we will start with the first question. please prepare your phone, scan the QR code, or you can go in the web browser and look at menti.com, and please enter the code that you have, 13996287. Please do not close that app or the web page, because we have several questions on that. You will be notified during the webinar. So please answer the first question.
Are we already?
Yes, please, just a few minutes. Take your time. You can see the result. Does your company's innovation process include sustainability in it?
Great.
Okay, you can see that we have 4 persons that say yes, and 1 no, and 1 we do not have innovation process. Good to know our audience.
Yeah,
so,
and it's good to see that sustainability is already in the innovation process, but maybe today we will show something new, or maybe don't. As you see, we have different levels of participants. So for us, we want that everybody can understand that innovation and sustainability go hand by hand. So thank you. Let's go to the next slide. So I want to ask this question. So when it's sustainability business as usual, it has 2 different sides of the coin. So a good business as usual, as its sustainability is the core business, is part of the DNA of a company. But it could be as well something that it's not precisely good. So it's routinary and it's boring, and it's part of the operations in the way that it's not taking enough information. It could be good, but both good and bad. So we have certain steps in the different companies to see when sustainability could be something innovative or routinary. So for start, let's say that the level 0, it's having a local legal compliance. And what do I mean with local? Because some companies which are like multinational are just complying the products specific for the local regulations. And if the local regulation of that specific product that maybe it's producing in different parts of the world, it does not require that, they will skip that regulation. So that's precisely something that it's like a 0. And I put it like a 0.1 because it's a reactive compliance. And it's basically having the legal compliance when we know that it's going to be a problem. Of course, there is already the local legal compliance, but the reactive compliance is very common, that many companies say, oh, we don't need to care about that. One example that I can now mention you, as we have observed with some of our customers, is the upcoming CSRD. Many of our customers are saying, okay, we are not mandated to do the reporting. We will have enough time. We still do GRI. So we want to start preparing now. So they react a very few weeks before instead of having a good time to react and preparation. The next one is that efficient production. And I mean with this because there is a lot of money involved on this. So you could have certain cost savings in this, of course, material utilization and energy, for instance. So it's very common that many companies do this like this. The other one is starting with transparency in reporting. So now you don't need to report according to a standard yet. So some companies just reported sustainability as it is. Some others use other frameworks like CDP or GRI, SASB, and now it's coming the CSRD. There are many other frameworks, reporting frameworks. So it was like, routinary just to report something. So I put it before having established the KPIs, because not all the standards require risk management or indicators of continuous improvement, yours are reporting. And even if you don't have a standard to follow to report, you are not showing like KPI. So just data that can be collected. And that's very common in many companies, that they just collect the data and don't use it on their own strategy. So that's the next step. You put it as a part of the strategy in the business, and it's not only something nice to do, it's not only something to report or something for marketing, it forms part of the full business strategies. And as you have established already KPIs, you can have a long-term vision. Then it will say, of course, there could be some steps in between, but I'll say that we are moving now to a circular model, business model with many companies, because it could be a circular product, a design like that, but if there is no a circular model behind, it won't be a circular at all. Then having a net positive impact both in the environment and the society, that it's not only reducing the impacts, but doing good. We can move to restorative, is all the damage that we have created. Now it can be restored to the original or to very close to the original state. And the last topic that it will be very good, that we just not restore the damage that we have done, but as well that we regenerate the nature. This we divide it like this, and we can say that the lower ones are routinary and the upper ones are a little bit innovative. That the routinary ones are having a short-term vision, and while the innovative ones have a long-term vision, and the lower ones just require isolated efforts, while the bigger ones or the upper ones require cooperative efforts. So we have the next question. Does your company innovation process include sustainability? Or is your company in the innovative side of sustainability? It's valid to say that you don't know. That's something common as well, that many companies report, make pre-sustainability reports and don't communicate it to their own employees. So that's very common. So don't feel bad if you don't know. That's common, I can tell you. It's not the ideal position, but that's something that happens. Okay, good. So let's continue.
Yeah. When is innovation used for business as usual? Innovation is used for business as usual when companies seek to improve their existing products, processes, or services to maintain competitiveness, efficiency, and profitability in the market. This type of innovation focuses on incremental change rather than radical transformations, and aims to optimize current operations rather than introducing entirely new ideas. Examples including updating technology systems, streamlining production processes, or enhancing customer service methods to better meet evolving market demands. It's important that innovation for business as usual is applied to ensure the companies stay relevant and successful in their day-to-day operations. And when is innovation used in favor of sustainability? Innovation used for sustainability whenever new ideas, methods, or technologies are developed to solve complex environmental, social, and economic challenges in a way that supports long-term goals. For example, it can be from renewable energy technologies to eco-friendly products and circular economy practices. Innovation enables us to reduce our environmental impact while promoting economic growth and social well-being. Innovation in sustainable product design and manufacturing focuses on minimizing waste, maximizing resource efficiency, and promoting the use of environmentally friendly materials. By embracing circular economy principles, companies can use innovation to rely less on limited resources and make products that can be reused, recycled, or composed. This is the cases of innovation that favor of sustainability. Together has not been a collaboration with those. This is highly Googled on the internet, and we found these really good inspiration that we want to show you. So we'll start off with the solar powered water purification. It's really suitable for regions that lack water, sanitation, and are not connected to the power grid. There are also solutions that are portable and available for like camping, and they can be scaled up for use between households and communities.
The next one is bioplastics for water treatment. PHA is one of the bioplastics which is more common used for the sludge that it's created in the water treatment plants. So it's not only treating water, but as well creating innovative materials. From these innovative materials, there are some applications for the PHA, that it's a polymer that is basically created in the cells of the bacteria. So it is the unique polymer right now with a family of more than 160 different polymides. It's a polymid that it's compostable, fully compostable, because it is created by organisms. It's very similar to the PLA, but the difference is that PLA, it's not fully compostable, while this could be absorbed by organisms and nurture the soils, for example. And here we see some applications for medical devices.
And the next one is that we can design multiple fruit wastes like pineapple, apples, cacti, orange, etc. can be used to create like vegan leather for fashion industry. And we have the edible food packaging that can be used from the food waste streams. They don't create additional pressure for the resources, and one shall choose the trade-offs and design mitigation controls. Okay.
We have as well the menstrual underwear that it's substituting some needs for disposables and doesn't need like sanitation water, like for example the cup or the ring, that it's another reusable item, but it's only your regular underwear, and you change it when it is needed, and you clean it as your regular underwear. It doesn't need additional things, so you don't need to clean it each time, maybe just change it.
And we have vertical farms that we can crop our crop in the vertical direction. And with that, it's like a facility and hydroponic greens. But there are some lack with the energy, but we can optimize it with AI to coordinate all aspects in the facility to have a very effective energy cost and saving.
And the last example that we are going to present here, it's a development that made Tetra Pak with a company called Absolicon. It's a solar thermal pasteurization. So they are using solar thermal, even here in Sweden, where there is not enough sun maybe around the world. But if it is translated into solar thermal instead of just the photovoltaic energy, can reach those temperatures needed to make the pasteurization. So it doesn't require like being in the grid, just a little bit of sun, and can provide a lower carbon footprint for dairy products. Now I'm going to talk about the value components. And what we consider value components are all those things that create value, but not only for the final user, but as well for the different stakeholders. So it, of course, one of the stakeholders is the business. So it should create value for the business. That means that it should be profitable. It should be something that it's economically sustained over time, and that it's relevant as well for the employees and other stakeholders inside the business, including the suppliers. It considers the full life cycle, and with that I mean like all those stakeholders that have some contact or can be affected by or could affect the performance of a product. Well, as an example, I can tell that when we are mining some minerals, the community members could affect the profitability by creating riots. For example, that's a risk for the companies. Or that there could be having respiratory issues, and that's because, of course, the production types, but could be related as well on the proper nature of the material. So choosing the material is not only about the purchasing guys, but it's as well for the engineers. So it's important that we know which could be the affectations. Another thing is when we try to sort out the different materials of a product, it's important that it's ergonomic and it's easy to sort as well for the waste managers. So we are thinking beyond the user. So we think about the full life cycle and who could be the groups or individuals, the stakeholders that can be affected by this. And finally, as I was telling you, the stakeholders. So once that you have identified your different life cycles, you need to think about who are your main stakeholders. That way we create value for everybody. So now I want to make a question, and here is who are the invisible stakeholders of the company in your product development processes? Because I'm sure that everybody thinks in the user, but have you thought in any other stakeholders or many of those ones that I mentioned? Just write down some ideas. You can introduce several responses. So who could be some invisible stakeholders you are missing in your own process? And that will be a good idea that you think about which are the design decisions that you could take to help those stakeholders. So we give a minute for you to think and share. Don't be shy. Of question. Okay, yeah, it's don't be worried. It's common that people in product development or even marketing communication don't think about other stakeholders as part of the design process. It's very common that we think on the user and the final customer and maybe on the supply. Yes, project managers, sales. Yes, of course. Internal stakeholders are important too. Yeah. Okay. Well, so say this, in order to identify who are the stakeholders, it's important that we answer some questions. So first is, who are the stakeholders at each life cycle phase? So we shall ask like, who could be affected by or affect our product during the raw materials extraction? I already mentioned it could be the community, it could be the workers that work in the mine, in the ore mine, for example. Could be at the end of life, who could be during the manufacturing, even could be the transportation, that if they need to grab and carry on the product and so on. Then we need to think what is important for them. So for instance, for a supplier that transports the goods, it's important that it's safe to carry the product and put it inside a truck, or even safe to carry the substances, use it for production. So that's important for them too. It's not only for the final user. So we need to think about, okay, we have already identified these stakeholders. Then we need to identify what is important for them that we include in the product or the process. Then where, because it's not the same, the product, how it's going to be used in Africa, Latin America, Europe, Asia. So there are cultural barriers as well, but there's technology barriers. So it would be great that everybody has like infrastructure already for electrical cars. But let's be honest, let's face it, this infrastructure is just not a reality in the rest of the world. So we need to ensure that it's not only about the product, but what we need to do to achieve that our product is successful. When the stakeholders will have the need. So that's only like it's when they have in very contact with any material, substance, or the product itself, or it will be something that will affect over time. So it accumulates biohazards or some issues to the environment that are not immediate, but will have something that will cause in the long term. Then, once that we have identified these things about the stakeholders, we ask like how one single value could support the other ones, because different stakeholders could have different requirements, but maybe if we are able to fulfill one, then we could fulfill all or most of them. What represents the greatest financial risk or opportunity? That's something that it's really important as well. You can add other topics as well in your selection metrics for the different concepts, but it's important that you have the financial stability and sustainability of your company and the economic stability too, because we believe more in prosperity than in profit. And finally, how do we ensure the value creation in the triple bottom line? The triple bottom line, for those that you don't know, it's basically people, planet, profit, or prosperity. So it's important that it creates value for the environment, for the society, and as well for the economy, both for the society and financial for the company. So let's think about a chair. It's a very simple product that we all have in our houses, I hope, or our offices, I hope too. So let's think about this. What could be important for stakeholders? Who could be the stakeholders, and which attributes could be something important for them? So rank these, of course, there could be others. So rank these, which could be one attribute that will make most of the stakeholders happy. Okay, tough question too. As you see, it could be a very simple product, but yet thinking in what could be something that it's valuable for all the stakeholders, it's not as easy because we are used to think only in the final user and now not how to create value for the society that it's in contact to our product and of course for the environment. And we can think about the environment as well as a stakeholder. So, okay, now we have with standard components. Yes, that's very important. That it's modular, that it's cheap, both to sell, price, and manufacturing. I agree with these ones.
Yeah, I also.
Okay, so we have 3 winners. Let's move to the next slide. And this is basically how it looks like. It's like the one single value that satisfies all. It's, of course, we start with the tier N supplier that goes in the raw materials extraction. We think in the logistics or freight between all these processes. Could be it's transportation from the raw materials, from the components manufacturing, from the manufacturing to retailing. Sorry, for during the usage phase, maybe if it is a vehicle, for example, could be transportation required for the waste management facilities. Assembly line employees, of course, at the different the different points of the manufacturing, including the transformation of the materials. It could be something interesting for the retailer as well as a stakeholder. Of course, the user and consumer, we never forget about it. The maintenance technicians, if the component or the product needs to be maintained to extend the lifespan of it. How the waste management suppliers will take care of the product, like sorting materials, and of course, all the circular solutions partners that will need, that it's not only the waste manager suppliers, it could be other companies. Then very quickly, I won't go into the details. We have internally a tool that it's called the Value Components Matrix. I just put this an example. So basically, it's just to make a comparison of the different topics that are important for the stakeholders at the different life cycle phases and compare them. So it compares first, of course, it will provide a value, but it compares based on these relationship values. So basically it's your like some relationship or not relationship at all to a strong and direct relationship. So if you see the easy to stack and unstack warehouse, it's exactly the same. So we can make a comparison. So how that specific value supports the other one. And then we can find that value that supports most of the customers with the red value here. If you are interested to know more, you can contact us, of course. Now you have this question because it's about the roadblocks in terms of difficulty to overcome to implement innovation or to think about these models that take into consideration the different stakeholders. So rank your questions. We can go through the answers at the end if we have time, because it seems that it's a lag. So the question is, how would you rank the following roadblocks in terms of difficulty to overcome? So these are just few of the common roadblocks that we have identified with customers when talking with them. Of course, it's the economic viability for the project or the product, the materials or something. That it's a complexity of the design that making it with some characteristics could be really, really high in complexity. It makes the business model more complex. Of course, consumer behavior, that's something as well that it's like, okay, we can design the perfect product, that what happens if the customer doesn't use it correctly. Some supply chain constraints, of course, cost and where the materials come from. Yeah. Okay, we see that economic viability and business model complexity are those with the greatest. Okay, let's move to the next slide then. Because then we are going to have record rooms, but first we want to introduce some tips on this. So how do you overcome the roadblocks? Advocate to accelerate regulatory framework. That's not only some companies make it the other way around, like they advocate to decelerate. But if you are committed to sustainability and you want to have more partners and you identify that you need collaboration with other sectors, maybe pushing the regulation could be something important. Expand cross-sector collaboration. That's as well part of this, so it's linked. If you have identified that your components cannot be used because of safety restrictions in your own company but can use in another sector, it's important that you collaborate all together, and not only with the recyclers or so on, with other sectors too. That you use life cycle costing as an optimization tool. Life cycle costing is as a life cycle assessment that consider the different impacts, but now it's you consider the different costs, because sometimes in the short term we see that something is really expensive. But if we see the full life cycle of the project, then we see a lot of money can be saved. Incorporate different stakeholders in the early stages so they can provide feedback with you if the actions that you will take in that could be something good for them, as well to understand them. Making standardization and modernization not only for the products, but as well for the processes. That implies using tools as Industry 4.0, for example. That you include behaviors in the product development team. This is something that it's very common for the UX or the UI, but it's going to be more common for the mechanical design or the software design, because we need to nudge the good behaviors in the customers. And that you start small and scale up. I think that's the tip that everybody likes. So don't be afraid to start small. I know that the urgency is high, but we can do it like that. So now we see that we only have 5 members. So we will open now the microphones to everybody. We won't make breakout rooms. And we will stop a little bit the recording here. It won't appear when we make the YouTube channel available in the YouTube channel. So just to have some questions. So we have a question for you. And first, okay, then we are not going to have breakout rooms because we are very few. And discuss this question: how has your organization successfully tackled roadblocks? We think this is important because we have found that some sectors are more advanced than others in terms of sustainability, so we can learn from each other. So let's continue. If we have questions. It seems that, well, at least in my breakout rooms, the CSRD is something that it's coming and it's important, and it's very common that it's just very common that the sustainability managers say that let's go and report. And what I have seen is that many times the managers that are with product development are not very aware of how they can provide some data points and data sets. So yeah, there are some other roadblocks as well for the level of awareness, that it seems that many think that they know or think that they don't know, and it could be the opposite. But well, let's move then to the questions. Do you have any comment from your breakout room staff?
I have some. We have a discussion about how recycled material can not really meet the requirement, and it's a little bit big challenge there. It got approved in some way when the requirement is lower, and some exterior, for example, areas that is more visible is more higher requirement, and the recycled material won't be approved. It doesn't meet the requirement. So it's we still have a little bit challenging way in front of us. So that's the topic. We can then we can move to the last Menti question. What do you need more help with? So what do you need more help with? So please be freely what you want to type. There is no right or wrong. So
correct.
just
You can come as well with those after this, and we can check how we can help you. We can just have a very quick chat and identify the needs and just pinpoint some ideas. But it might be that your colleagues have the same need. So it's as well interesting to know that many companies have the same challenges. So, okay, don't be afraid. And of course, if you have questions, you have the questions and answers, and you have as well the chat that you can put the questions in there. If there is some specific question that you would like to talk about or that we can answer.
Yes.
Good. So it seems that we don't have questions. We have few participants this time. Well, thank you very much for those that were with us, and as well those that participated as well with this discussion. We are here to help you, of course. You can see our contacts, Gustav and Karina, and we have as well one of our colleagues, Thomas. It's part of the innovation, Sustainovation team here inside. Don't be afraid to make questions. I'm sure that we can find together a solution. And stay tuned for our next webinar that it's going to be designed for modularity, saving the time, money, and the planet. We will have one of our experts in the mechanical design and talk about some of the few projects that we have designed for modularity in there, and how that have helped companies to make products cheaper, with less materials, and as well more ergonomic, among others. So stay tuned and like and subscribe our LinkedIn for the updates, and you can visit as well Together Tech to see other webinars.
And also, please help us to improve. Please fill up this feedback survey, please.
Yes. So scan the QR code, and if you have comments for us to improve, so we can take them into account for our next webinar, of course. And so thank you very much. I'll leave this. We will leave this a little bit, few seconds more, so you have chance to scan it. So, well,
thank you very much.
Thank you. See you next time.
On next webinar. Bye.
Bye-bye.